Jon Tester is a three-term Democratic senator from Montana, and he manages a full-time job outside of the Senate as well, and that's as a farmer. The lawmaker out with a new book called Grounded, a senator's lessons on winning back rural America. And Senator Jon Tester joins us now. Senator Tester, great to have you here, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We will get to the book here in just a moment, but I did want to get your reaction to some of the top news that's happening right now. And I want to start with President Trump contradicting his own CDC director yesterday, saying we would have a coronavirus vaccine in the next 4 to 8 weeks, even though Robert Redfield said it's not going to be available until the second or third quarter of next year. And the president also downplayed the effectiveness of masks. Senator, I'm curious your take on all of this. Are you worried that the vaccine is being overly politicized right now?
Absolutely. And I'll also tell you that one of the big concerns we have in this country is the economy, and what has taken the economy to the level it is right now is the coronavirus. And if the president could see that, he would listen to science. He would encourage people to be socially distanced, encourage people to wear masks, and not politicize the vaccine, because quite frankly, all those things will have had and will have negative impacts on the economy. He's been doing this since the beginning. He's been in denial since the beginning, and by the Woodward tapes, it shows that he knows better. So it's really, really, really unfortunate.
Yeah, Senator Tester, Joe Biden yesterday said that he trusts the CDC when it comes to a vaccine. He trusts scientists, but he doesn't trust Donald Trump. Do you agree with Joe Biden on that?
Yeah, you just have to fact check him on just about every time he talks about anything, and quite frankly, he's had a really, really hard time with the truth. And the bottom line is the CDC has been there as long as they don't get politicized. And I know there's folks that are trying to do that within this administration, but as long as they're not politicized, they're going to be fine. They're going to do the work that they've always done in the past and that Americans expect. And we will get a vaccine that will help us on this COVID-19 pandemic that we're in, and the country will come out of this and move forward. But as long as the president has a different set of facts that he's working off of, it just extends the pain of this coronavirus, I believe.
Senator Tester, I do want to talk about the relief efforts on all of this, because we know there's been a little bit of a stalemate between Senate Republicans and congressional Democrats on this. The Fed yesterday saying that more needs to be pumped into the markets to keep the economy essentially afloat right now. Mark Meadows earlier this morning said that the White House would agree to $1.5 trillion in spending, but we know Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi want a lot more money than that. How optimistic are you that we're going to see a deal to help out a lot of really struggling Americans right now?
I'll just say this, Baker. In August, in early August, the reason negotiations broke down is people walked away from the table, particularly the White House. I'm hearing the White House sending out smoke signals that they're willing to come back to the table and negotiate. I will tell you, I don't think anybody is locked in on a number. I think the fact is, if folks sit down and negotiate and come up with a program that meets the needs of this country. And look, there are still a lot of business needs out there. There's still a lot of needs for working families that have lost their work. There's still a lot of need for municipalities, for education, both K-12 and higher ed. And there's still a lot of needs out there for things like the Postal Service and broadband infrastructure. The fact is, we're not going to get everything taken care of, but we got to do a better job than what was proposed last week in the Senate. That was totally inadequate. Sit down at the negotiating table, listen to people's views, listen to the reasoning why they're advocating for dollars to be sent in different areas, and compromise and come up with a deal. And I think what the White House has sent out, the signals they've sent out in the last few days, indicates that there's an opportunity. Now let's get the folks at the table. Let's start negotiating.
Senator Tester, I want to talk about your book right now. Obviously, 2016, really a microcosm for a lot of the problems that Democrats had with Hillary Clinton in 2016. They did really well in the cities, just did not do very well in rural areas and the suburbs as well. Your book essentially giving Democrats the roadmap to start doing better in rural areas. What have Democrats done wrong when it comes to talking to rural voters out there? And do you feel that 2020 will be a different year when it comes to those voters?
I do think 2020 is going to be different, because I think Joe Biden is going to run a different kind of campaign, and he's going to show up in rural America. And one of the first rules in politics is you got to show up. Joe Biden also has a totally different background than President Trump does. Joe Biden has come from a working family, from working community, as he's worked his way through life. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And I will tell you that this book does talk about how you deal with rural America and how you communicate with rural America. Authenticity matters. Joe Biden has that authenticity. And I think that if he's able to go to rural America and look people in the eyes and talk about the importance of affordable, accessible health care, talk about the importance of higher education be affordable and a powerful public education system in this country, talk about the fact that he's going to fight to preserve Medicare and Social Security, not undermine it as this president has done, I think he'll do much, much better in rural America than our previous candidate. And I'll also tell you this, I think it's a first step of many that need to be taken to bring rural America back into the Democratic fold. I think our Democratic values match up much better with rural America than what I've seen out of the Republican Party, especially lately.
Senator Tester, your state, Montana, a rich, interesting, fascinating political history. Montanans have chosen a Democrat the last 4 gubernatorial races, 5 of the last 6 U.S. Senate campaigns, but also being a state that every year since 1960 has voted for Republicans. Do you feel the Senate majority is going to be at play here with Steve Bullock on the ballot? And do you feel that the Senate majority comes down to your state?
I don't think it comes down to Montana. I think Steve Bullock is an incredibly good candidate, and I think he's going to win. But the bottom line is that there are many Senate races in this country that are in play, and I think for good reason. Montana is an interesting state because we have Democrats, we have Republicans, and they're all libertarians. And I think that there's opportunity there for Joe Biden to do much better than what happened in 2016. I think there's opportunity there to once again win the governor's seat and win a Senate seat. And I will tell you, with the exception of me, every statewide race in the state is up. We only have one member of the House of Representatives. Of course, that's up because it's up every 2 years. But all the other statewide, Attorney General, Office of Public Instruction, Insurance Auditor, all those are all up. And I will tell you that I think that if people work hard in rural America, rural Americans appreciate that. And if you show up and give them your vision, but first listen to what their concerns are, but show them your vision, I think you've got a great chance to get them to vote for you.
It's going to be a fascinating November. That's the least of our. That's going to be definitely the biggest one we've ever seen. Senator Jon Tester of Montana. He, of course, is the author of Grounded: A Senator's Lessons on Winning Back Rural America, and that book is out now.